anti-Hindus say supporting boys to overcome lust is discrimination against women. Actually, not teaching brahmacharya lifestyle ensures continued violence, insensitivity, and discrimination against women. The poverty in Hinduism is because the lack of the concept of brahmacharya into a Hindu spiritual tradition. Brahmacharya celibacy for seekers to get enlightened takes away millions of sufferings, and not only that, but even your consciousness. See, the more and more you feel you are married, you are committed to somebody, it's like continuously cutting the wings of a bird. The more the bird grows, every 3 months, every 2 months, you cut the wings. You just clip the feathers. Will the bird be able to fly ever? Clipping the feathers is the most unfortunate thing that can happen to a bird. Master is the realized of the potentiality of human beings. Most violent, most aggressive act your body can commit is sexual intercourse. It is not that every time you commit that act only, the lust engrams are awakened, because it is such an aggressive act. Your fear, greed, anger, hunger, thirst, laziness, all patterns are brought back to life intensely. It takes at least years for you to get back to the subdued states of patterns. Neither having a word, thought, or deed, or imagination or idea of sexual intercourse in your waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. Tejas is the transformed sex energy, lust energy. Only when the brains are soaked into the Tejas you create gurus, Jagat gurus. Still in Hinduism, brahmacharya has not become mainstream lifestyle. In Buddhism and Jainism, it is very common. Let all the Hindu education institutions, schools, colleges make the next generation kids understand about sannyas. One living sannyasi can create and help thousands of spiritual seekers. Sannyasis are fruits of this country's spiritual aspiration. One of the arguments against the Sabrimala temple in the Supreme Court ruling was that because the male practitioners that undergo the brahmacharya yatra do not eternally achieve the state of brahmacharya of Lord Ayyappan, that brahmacharya should not be seen as an essential practice of the religious denomination, and thus the non-distinct group should not be afforded religious freedoms outlined under the Constitution of India. By this logic, any tradition that does not immediately give enlightenment should be thrown out, not recognized as distinctly denominational. For example, Christians, who view themselves as born sinners, cannot, by definition, become as Jesus. Therefore, there are no religion-specific essential practices, because they expect that nothing they do will result in them achieving eternally the space of Jesus. Only after the time of death the judgment is there. So, by the Supreme Court logic, going to church, praying, partaking of communion, reading the Bible, and even baptism should be seen as non-essential practices, and not immediately and eternally liberating, then they do not lend the religion any distinct identity to justify its existence. Similarly, 5 times per day praying, going to mosque, wearing certain clothing, reading Quran, and more does not create Islam as a distinct practice warranting any sorts of religious rights or freedoms. So who exactly is leveling these arguments in the courts, destroying Hinduism on baseless grounds? Who wants to destroy Hinduism and why?
We'd like to end today's Hinduism Now capsule with a fundamental principle of inquiry in Hinduism. Athatho Brahma Jignasa. Let us now inquire into the ultimate truth.